What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chuggy from Shook Earth Media. Today we're doing yet another tier list. This time we're doing the worst shows of the year. I got my 5 least favorite shows. Some of them were covered on the channel, one of them was not, but you guys probably already know where this video is going. But I thought it would be fun to just shit on some of my least favorite shows of the year because you guys seem to enjoy me going through that and having an aneurysm for your entertainment. That's what I'm here for, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get too much deeper into it, I just want to say that I'm live streaming tomorrow or tonight, December 2nd, Friday, Callisto Protocol. It's a new horror game, survival horror game that we will be playing. So definitely stay tuned on the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified. And I hope to see you guys there. It'll be a good time. But with that, we're going to start with the Halo show. Now, I'm a huge Halo fan. I'm a Halo boy. And the character of Master Chief and the story of the Halo universe is very important to me. I grew up on it. It means a lot. He's a symbol of hope. I loved it. And I was really excited to see a live action version. I mean, we've been hearing about a movie for so long. Peter Jackson was working on one. I was really excited. And then Steven Spielberg gets a license, right? And he's the guy who produces this absolute atrocity of television, okay? They're just like, yeah, let's take everything unique about Halo and let's make it this sour, dour, down in the dumps, depressing, everything's evil, corrupt, there's no good or evil, it's all bad, shades of gray, and all that's fine, but that's not what Halo is, okay? Halo is a fight for survival. Master Chief is a symbol of hope, and we all band together and fight against the forces of evil, even to the point where we convince some of the people on the other side to join us, okay? We convince the Covenant to come join us. And the thing with the Halo universe is there's so much potential for storytelling live action. I mean, you could go so many different ways with it. You could have a story with ODST drop soldiers. You could have a story about Marines. You could have a story about the Covenant. This show tried to do a mature version of Master Chief. We're going to make him human again. Even though the whole point of his character is that his humanity is kind of stripped out and he's a killing machine. The whole point is that he's not supposed to be this overly emotional thing, okay? He's not supposed to be concerned about anything except for the mission. Okay, and this show has him, he took the mask off in the first episode, okay, the helmet, which we've never done that in the games, okay, because he's not a human, he is the suit. They are inseparable on screen, okay, it is very important. And then, of course, we got, oh, he's fighting for a corrupt military that's actually evil. And, like, there was a little bit of that in some of the backstory where the war started against humans, and there's some interesting stuff there, right? Where the UNSC is not all good. That's fine. But then they decide to make them actually evil in this, and they're trying to kill a kid in the first episode, and it's way over the top with the gore, too. Halo's not about gore and just being really violent, okay? It's supposed to be kid-friendly, family-friendly. It's supposed to be inspiring to young teenage boys. That's what Halo is supposed to do, okay? It's not supposed to be, oh, we're talking about our feelings, okay? We're getting in touch with the fact that we have all these memories from the past. He's got memory fragments that he's remembering. Who fucking cares, dude? And Cortana can control him or something. And it's like, well, why would you even have a man in the suit at that point? And just make him a robot. Like, it's the dumbest show ever. I fucking hate this show. And to me, this I don't know. We'll get to it. Which one is the worst of the year? What tier is it going in? It's going in the F tier. I don't know, man. We're gonna debate which one of these is the worst in a bit. So I gotta move on to the next one because I ranted enough about it. Next, we got Resident Evil on Netflix, the live action series that they did. Now, this show was absolutely awful. Insufferable characters. Really dumb characters. The main character is supposed to be this smart genius scientist, and she performs an experiment where there's hundreds, dozens at least, dangerous zombies within spitting distance of her. And while she could have performed this experiment from a safe distance, she decides to be right there. But meanwhile, she's doing this while her family is very far away in a not safe place either. She just abandoned her family to do this dangerous experiment. And she manages to almost get her daughter killed in an experiment. And then that zombie that almost killed her daughter goes on and kills a pregnant lady. Absolutely horrifically bad character, the dumbest character of all time. And we're flashing back and forth between two different timelines. And you think that it's a post-apocalyptic timeline is the future one. You would think that the early one is going to show you how the apocalypse starts, right? No, it's just here to introduce these two characters that we can't stand, the two young girls who eventually we see them in adult form and they hate each other, and it really feels like the past storyline is completely irrelevant. They change Wesker to be this really weak character, and then it turns out he's a clone anyway. So it's just a bunch of member berries. It's not in line with the timeline of the video games. They want you to think that it is, but it ignores every game past 5. And somehow the Raccoon City got covered up, guys. It wasn't an outbreak. Nobody ever heard about it. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. And there's barely any zombie action in this. There's like a little bit of action here and there. And turning Resident Evil into an apocalyptic storyline just does not work fundamentally, because it's about small contained outbreaks and global terrorism and stuff like that. If you make the whole world overcome by the zombie apocalypse, then who are the pharmaceutical companies going to sell bioweapons to? You know what I mean? It is the end point of the series. There's nowhere to go after that. So it's a really, really dumb show. But you know what? I'm going to put it above the Halo show because, you know, Resident Evil, the games, they're not the smartest storylines, you know, and they don't have to be. And the thing is, there's so many bad Resident Evil movies at this point. You can't harm the original franchise. They can't do it as much as they want to, and they try to in every installment make the games look bad. They just can't, because the games are amazing. So it's got to go in the E tier, because I don't think it's the worst show on this list by any means. Next, we got Slippin Jimmy. This is the animated little kids cartoon that had Better Call Saul. It's supposed to be a prequel of him growing up in Catholic school or something, which is an aspect of the character I don't even remember. But it's him and Marco. But really what it is the person who wrote it just wanted to do a bunch of movie parodies. And they decided to somehow make it a marketing ploy for Better Call Saul. It's a tarnish on the Breaking Bad universe, which is pretty much perfect. I mean, a lot of people might have some mixed feelings on the movie that they did, but that movie, whether you like it or not, I happen to like it, it does not tarnish the franchise in the same way that this does. This our animated fucking thing has demons in it, which ghosts and demons in the Breaking Bad universe, which is supposed to be very grounded and realistic. It's just absolutely idiotic, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The worst sin of it is that it's not even funny. It's lame jokes, gross out humor, and a bunch of references to like modern day political events like crypto and stuff. It's supposed to take place in the 70s. Where was the editor or anybody who gave a shit about Breaking Bad's legacy when it comes to this animated show here? I have no idea how this even came to be. It is that bad. Now, I will say, I don't think it's the worst of these shows, though, because it doesn't ruin the franchise. The show went on to have the rest of the season, the second half of the season, and the series finale, one of the best shows ever made, in my opinion. A perfect ending. 10 out of 10 final episode. I loved it. And they tried to wreck the legacy with this. And fortunately enough people were paying attention to this final season. It stayed self-contained. But this was painful to get through. Almost as bad as Halo. I think I would rather watch the Resident Evil show again. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, guys. Next, we talk about Walking Dead a lot. We got Tales of the Walking Dead. Okay, this is the worst Walking Dead show they ever did, and it should have the most potential because it is an anthology show. It can go any number of directions, and it doesn't have to be like one episode could be bad, but then they've got all the other episodes. Every story is unique, so why does any of them have to be bad? They're all bad. The only episode that's watchable is this scientist one. Every other one, it's really basic writing, okay? It's like two characters and they're both boring and they don't change at all is how each episode works, you know? So we got Terry Crews and Olivia Munn in the first episode, and they're just supposed to be preppers, but they don't show any actual skill at preparing for the apocalypse, and the writing is just so boring and awful. But the worst thing about it is we have a time loop sci-fi Groundhog Day episode in the Walking Dead universe, which again is supposed to be really grounded and not supposed to feature any magic or anything like that. We also have an episode about this lady right here getting cursed by a witch and then getting haunted by this lady in her house. I wish I was kidding. They throw in a explanation that there might be something in the water supply that's making them hallucinate, but they're really stretching the hallucinations in this. They even have this guy on the right here hallucinates talking zombies at some point. And then they retcon an amazing villain from The Walking Dead to the point where her whole philosophy and the group that she was the head of, it turns out she didn't even create the idea or ideology behind it. She just happened to run across the previous leader and murder them. So it's a horrible show. Horrible show. I'm going to put it next to Resident Evil, though, because, they went on to end the main Walking Dead show, and it ended pretty good. And if we can just have some decent spin-offs next year, we can just think of Tales of the Walking Dead as a fluke. But as of right now, I got to say I'm not really holding out much hope for it. I don't know. It's the people who thought that curse episode was a good idea are still there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried, guys. Now, next we got Rings of Power. I made a video about it, and so few people watched it that I deleted the video. But this show, man, like, the thing about it is, like, I love the Lord of the Rings world. Seeing more the backstory is a great idea. And none of the story is per se bad. What's bad about it is the execution, the dialogue, the writing, and just a lot of the goofiness of it. And it's so very inconsistent. A lot of the acting isn't good. The main character is Galadriel, except they make her a warrior, which I'm okay with. I mean, a lot of people don't like that because they didn't view her that way. I understand that. But I don't feel like it's totally inconsistent for somebody who's thousands of years old to have combat experience, but it's so over the top. She's like so much better than everybody else to the point where it's laughable, and she's just angry and bitter all the time. Not a very compelling main character to watch, not somebody that's charming or interesting. Okay, and there's so many subplots and so much dead air on the show. You're just sitting around waiting for things to happen. Okay, so there's things that I like about it, though. I mean, some of the effects are amazing, of course, and I like the dwarves storyline, and I like the Elrond storyline, but most of the show is just like they set up a mystery, and then they reveal it a couple episodes later. It's very shallow storytelling, but I don't think that this is as bad as any of the shows that I mentioned before. Now, the thing with Lord of the Rings is there's so much higher of a bar for Lord of the Rings because that's respected literature, amazing work of art that will stand the test of time for longer than any of us watching this are going to be alive. People that, generations from now, hundreds of years from now, will be Lord of the Rings fans. You know what I mean? So this show is completely forgettable. I like the finale was decent with some of the reveals, and man, if they just had better scripts and just not as much of an agenda, it would have been a good show, man. I don't know. It had so much potential, but I still think it's better than all these other shows. Like, it's at least watchable. I would say the biggest issue is just things aren't happening. So I got to put it in the D tier above all these other awful shows because I honestly would rather watch that. So that's the 5 shows that I had to feature today. Of course, you know, this we're doing this for the memes. It's not really like a genuine thing. But let's decide which of these is the worst. So we kind of got it down to 2. We have the Halo show, which turns a great franchise into something it's not. You know, it tries to, it thinks it's above the source material and that it knows better than the source material. Meanwhile, it's confusing the audience. It doesn't even explain who the Covenant is or what they're about. And it has a human on the Covenant side, which is so confusing. Even as a fan, it makes no sense to me. So I hate the Halo show so much. And the worst thing about it to me is that it ruins the potential for any Halo adaptation coming forward. Nobody can come in unless like years down the line they decide to start from scratch. But you know, they were pretty intent on this being a silver timeline and multiple shows in this timeline. And I just have trouble seeing it. They're shooting season 2, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if this gets a season 3. There's like a couple good battle scenes, and then the rest of the show is absolutely worthless. So, not a fan of the Halo show. Slippin Jimmy was really painful to watch, but you know what? That's just a little quirky marketing ploy trying to get people to watch the final season of Better Call Saul. I don't think it is as bad as the Halo show because the Halo show destroys an amazing character that should be an inspiration to so many people and is an inspiration to so many of the fans of the games. And it had the opportunity to introduce people to this universe that have never seen it. And there's some really amazing science fiction concepts and just really cool action. It's the worst thing about it is Halo is supposed to be cool. It's supposed to be fucking cool. I'm supposed to look at that and be like, wow, that looks fucking cool. And there's just like everything's gray. Everything's like dark and dull and boring. How could you make Halo boring? You know? I guess you just have to ask 343. Hey, okay, with that zinger, we're going to end this video, I think. Let me know you guys think what was the worst show you watched this year. Do you agree with my opinions in this video? And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy. Remember, I'm streaming Callisto Project tomorrow, Friday, December 2nd. I'm really looking forward to it. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.